Have you ever noticed that the people who doubt you rarely disappear when things get difficult? They watch. They judge. They predict your failure long before you've had a chance to prove yourself. And if you're not careful, their opinions slowly become your own. That's the real danger. It isn't criticism. It isn't rejection. It isn't failure. It's believing that someone else's limited view of you is more accurate than your own potential. The moment you start living according to other people's expectations, you stop building your own future. Most people think proving others wrong is about revenge. It isn't. Real victory isn't making people feel bad. It's becoming the kind of person their opinions can no longer define. That's the difference between chasing validation and building confidence. One depends on others. The other comes from who you become. Today, more than ever, it's easy to lose yourself. Social media constantly shows you people who seem more successful, more attractive, more talented, and more accomplished. Comparison becomes a habit. Self-doubt becomes normal. And before you realize it, you're asking yourself whether you're even capable of achieving the life you want. But confidence doesn't disappear overnight. It fades through repetition. Every promise you break to yourself. Every excuse you accept. Every opportunity you avoid because you're afraid of failing. Your confidence isn't stolen. It's slowly traded away. The people who eventually surprise everyone aren't always the smartest. They're not always the most gifted. Most of the time, they're simply the ones who kept moving when nobody believed they could. Discipline quietly replaces talent. Consistency slowly defeats natural ability. Patience outlasts excitement. That's how real transformation happens. The problem is that most people expect motivation to carry them. But motivation is emotional. Emotions change. Some mornings you'll feel inspired. Other mornings you'll feel tired, frustrated, distracted, or discouraged. If your progress depends on your emotions, your future becomes unpredictable. That's why discipline matters so much. Discipline allows you to continue even when motivation disappears. It turns action into identity. You don't become confident because you feel confident. You become confident because you repeatedly do difficult things. Every difficult task completed tells your brain something important. I can handle discomfort. I keep my promises. I don't quit when things become inconvenient. Over time, those small victories completely reshape how you see yourself. Many people spend years trying to change their circumstances while ignoring their habits. But your daily habits quietly build your future. Not once. Every single day. Small decisions seem insignificant. Choosing to procrastinate today doesn't feel serious. Skipping one workout seems harmless. Wasting one evening scrolling through endless content feels normal. But habits multiply. The brain remembers repetition. Whatever you repeat becomes easier. That's why bad habits become automatic. And that's why good habits eventually require less effort. Your future is rarely created by one massive decision. It's built by thousands of ordinary choices nobody else notices. Another reason people stay stuck is because they care too much about being understood. They explain every goal. They announce every plan. They seek approval before they've even started. But approval doesn't build results. Action does. The strongest confidence grows quietly. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need permission. It simply keeps improving. There's something powerful about silent progress. When nobody expects anything from you, you have freedom. Freedom to learn. Freedom to fail. Freedom to improve without constantly defending yourself. The loudest people often achieve the least because they're busy talking about becoming successful instead of becoming successful. Real growth usually looks boring from the outside. It's waking up consistently, doing the work repeatedly, improving a little every day, saying no to distractions, choosing long-term rewards over short-term comfort. That doesn't attract much attention until the results become impossible to ignore. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that confidence comes before action. In reality, confidence follows evidence. Your brain believes what your actions repeatedly prove. If you avoid challenges, your brain learns fear. If you face challenges, your brain learns resilience. Self-belief isn't imagination. It's accumulated proof. Every completed promise becomes another piece of evidence that you're capable. That's why excuses are so dangerous. Excuses feel comforting because they protect your ego. It's not the right time. I'm too busy. I'll start next week. I'm waiting until I'm ready. Those sentences reduce immediate discomfort, but they quietly increase future regret. Comfort has a hidden cost. It asks for nothing today, then charges you years later. Growth asks for effort now, then rewards you for years afterward. Every person eventually chooses which price they're willing to pay. The truth is, nobody enjoys discomfort. Nobody wakes up excited to struggle. But successful people stop negotiating with discomfort. They understand that temporary pain often creates permanent strength. Failure also isn't what most people think it is. Failure isn't trying and falling short. Failure is allowing fear to prevent effort. Every meaningful goal includes mistakes. Every skilled person was once inexperienced. Every confident person once doubted themselves. Improvement has never been a straight line. Looks messy. Progress often feels invisible. That's why patience becomes a competitive advantage. While others quit because they don't see immediate results, patient people keep building. Eventually, time rewards consistency. Another reality many people avoid is that criticism usually says more about the critic than the person being criticized. People often project their own fears onto others. Someone afraid of taking risks discourages ambition. Someone trapped in comfort questions discipline. Someone who gave up assumes everyone else eventually will too. If you listen to everyone, you'll inherit their limitations. Instead, listen carefully to your own actions. They reveal far more than opinions ever will. Here's a simple psychological truth. Ruin your future. Your brain naturally prefers comfort because comfort saves energy. Thousands of years ago, conserving energy helped humans survive. Today, that same instinct encourages procrastination, distraction, and avoidance. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your future. It's trying to avoid effort. That's why growth often feels uncomfortable. The discomfort isn't evidence you're failing. It's often evidence you're changing. The challenge isn't eliminating discomfort. It's learning that discomfort isn't dangerous. Every time you act despite resistance, your brain gradually adapts. The task becomes easier. Your identity becomes stronger. Your standards become higher. So how do you actually prove them wrong? Not through arguments. Not through social media posts. Not through revenge. You prove them wrong by becoming disciplined enough that your results speak before you do. Protect your mornings. Reduce unnecessary distractions. Keep promises to yourself. Build routines that continue even when motivation disappears. Spend more time improving than explaining. Measure success by consistency instead of attention. Celebrate progress instead of perfection. Focus on becoming 1% better each day. Those small improvements compound into extraordinary change. Remember, the people who doubted you are not your biggest obstacle. The voice inside your own head is. Defeat that voice and outside opinions lose their power. Because the greatest achievement isn't making your critics regret doubting you. It's reaching a point where their opinions no longer matter. One day people may be surprised by who you've become. But the biggest surprise should belong to you. You'll realize that the person you were trying to prove wrong was never them. It was the version of yourself that believed you couldn't. So stop waiting for permission. Stop chasing validation. Stop measuring your worth through someone else's expectations. Build your habits. Strengthen your mind. Respect your commitments. Stay patient. Stay consistent. And let your life become the answer that words never could. If this message gave you a new perspective, share in the comments. What is one belief about yourself that you're leaving behind today? Keep growing, keep improving, and remember, your greatest response to doubt is becoming the person you once thought was impossible.